1, 2, 3, 4. In this podcast, you will hear Knights of Vader. Knights of Vader includes, but is not limited to, talk of Star Wars, not ray guns. We can truly prepare you for the joke that follows this song, but hey, we gave it a try. So here's the Knights of Vader. Crystal Fox reports they are divided. Prequel, sequel, canon, love they fight. I know that we are just musicians hired, and their time is up. So here's the Knights of Vader.
Impressive. Most impressive.
A big thank you to An Insperiority Complex for providing our theme song. It is June 9th, 2025. My name is Zack Weber, and joining me is Grand Admiral Zenger.
Nah, it's Hollywood. Hollywood Zenger. Hollywood Zenger.
Hollywood Grand Admiral Zenger.
Because obviously I write in Hollywood. I'll get to it later.
All right. And we have Chris.
Zenger is such a contrarian that he waits till Hollywood completely implodes to become Hollywood Zenger. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's the way to go.
While the giant porg is in the background, just watching it all burn.
Well, the great thing is I got the glasses on, but when I'm taking them off.
The suspense is killing me.
Oh, man, it's not going to stay now.
This is great auditory podcast spotter right here.
Okay,
He's going
he's
to hold my glasses. And I had to get a new ring light because I'm that Hollywood right now.
He's bougie now.
I'm bougie because I obviously write for Star Wars.
See, folks, we're out
They
here for a little
won't
while.
credit
We start
me.
having delusions of grandeur.
I'm getting there. I need to put on the glasses. It is too bright.
Is that why the glasses are on? For a practical reason? I want to know that when I joined the call, he was wearing the Captain Cardinal Black Series helmet. I want that known.
Dude, he looks
for the
like
record.
Macho Man. He looks like
I'm
Slim Jim
definitely-
packaging Macho Man.
Step to a Slim Jim.
Oh my God. What has happened in 2 months? See, this is what happens when we're not recording April Fool's Day episodes.
This is what happens when I watch The Perfect Show. The Perfect Show.
Oh my God.
Comment?
All right. Hard left turn back into Star Wars. Yes, folks, we are back. Much like Palpatine, but not like Calrissian Endor's sister. We have returned somehow. We have so many topics to discuss. Celebration nonsense, Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary nonsense, Battlefront 2 resurgence nonsense, Darth Maul TV series nonsense. Like the list goes on and on. Jedi, I'll say Jedi Starfighter. That's what the real name is, right, Chris? We have the Star Wars Starfighter movie starring Ryan Gosling and Mia Goth, directed by Sean Levy. It's that fabulous time once every 12 to 18 months of Lucasfilm just putting everything into, like, imagine like a 17th century musket and then just shooting it in the audience's face and being like, enjoy this how you've lived off scraps for the last how many months.
It's a blunderbuss. That's what they put it into.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, oh God, where's Joe in the AI right now? The Star Wars blunderbuss is being held by Kathleen Kennedy.
Dude. Okay, so there's this AI Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill like walking around Coruscant picture going viral. I'm telling you, man, these AI fan films, once they do a feature-length film starring Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill from like how they looked 7 years ago, Disney's not going to stand for it, man, because people are just going to lose their minds if it's any good at all. It can be a solid 4 out of 10, and it's going to like really upend them.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be like what Star Trek was like a decade ago.
Good?
Well, Axanar. It's going to be when like Paramount starts doing the fan films. Like that's, I kind of agree with Chris. That's an inevitability. But the sad thing is that Star Wars fans love throwing money at the IP in a way that like Star Trek fans don't. It depends. I don't know. Again, Disney's not that litigious when it comes to things like that. But like Chris said, if it becomes too popular, I could see it maybe reaching critical mass eventually. I could see Harrison Ford suing these people directly as opposed to like Disney. I could see them doing it, like funding the actors' legal pursuits as opposed to the studio doing it.
Get off my likeness.
It's too good. It's going to be too good. That's the problem, right? It's going to be those memes that went around for years of like the photoshopped Falcon cockpit with the original 4 characters. Like that's going to be a feature-length movie be made by some guy on one computer.
Yeah, maybe. I do want to point something out, though. Speaking of lawsuits and kind of why I'm dressed this way, I have a plan, and I might have already spoken about it. I am going to make detours.
You can put that into AI and make detours.
I know, I'm going to make it, and then here's the catch. If I get sued, they have to prove it exists by releasing it. I'm not a legal expert.
Well, that's what I mean. They'd sue you, and then in the lawsuit, in discovery, you could request the release of all of it.
Exactly. I will be a hero. I will be a hero to myself.
It's like the like John Hamm meme. It's just like idea, bootleg Star Wars detours. And then during the copyright infringement lawsuit, discovery.
I'll just sit in a room and watch it. Lawyers' fees. What are those? We got Knights of Vader money.
Oh my God, Zenger. I think you've kind of Zenger, I think you've created fanboys too. That's the plot. It's like a bunch of like nerds like, we need Star Wars detours release. How do we do this? We finagle the Walt Disney Company into suing us.
Because as we've established for the longtime listeners, I did apparently accurately predict a ton of stuff that they did in that show, but for no reason we can't prove I did it. Never
forget, one of the earliest things this podcast almost did was get a writer on detours to break his NDA. We were so close to that happening at one point. Back in like 2017 or 18.
I was blocked so much. And it's
up there when JD Rinsler almost came on the podcast.
Yeah.
When who?
JD Rinsler.
No,
rest in peace.
JW Rinsler, yeah.
JW. Yeah, we got him. We got him on the Vintage Rebellion podcast, but I didn't get to join that one. Mm-hmm. I was not senior enough at the time. Hate to see it.
But no, folks, the most important topic at hand, Calrissian Andor season 2. But peek behind the curtain. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves right now. Tip of the hand. But we are possibly waiting on Rus, so we are going to hold off on that until we get a definitive confirmation if he is joining or not joining. So let's talk about some of the other stuff that's happened in the last couple of weeks, months, sadly. But first, I have to ask Chris, Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary. Did you get a chance to see it in theaters?
Oh, you had to do that to me, huh? I did not, but I watched it at home.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. Like, Chris, I hope you were moving that weekend.
I had every intention of doing it, and much like I am today, I was out in a rural zone for work and that had no such theater carrying one Revenge of the Sith. So I was low on options. I'm sure only 5 theaters in Canada had it. Of course, I lived near one of them, but not at the time when it came out.
So hold on. Allow me to establish this. You're in a rural part of Canada, so they might have been airing it with the initial release of it. Like, that's how long it takes for stuff to get to rural areas of Canada because of dog sled.
I think for the original Star Wars film, it took 9 months to get to the UK. So you're not way off, but that was 45 years ago.
I mean, technology has come a long way, but not long enough to
dog sled come a long way.
Imagine even the idea that it took 9 months back then kind of sounds crazy. But just put them all on one flight, all the reels. What are you doing? I don't.
Why? I mean, a guy on a boat could have made it there faster.
I'm sure it's a legal reason.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
But okay, considering Zenger, I presume you didn't see it in a theater, right?
I mean, that would involve me going out in public, and I'm too famous now for writing a hit Star Wars show to do that.
Oh, you're cosplaying
a Star Wars show back in the the late 2000s?
No.
He's cosplaying Tony Gilroy. That's how cool he is.
Yeah, oh, is that what this is all supposed to be? I didn't get the bit.
Yeah, because
I'm looking at it and I don't even get it.
No, because I am convinced Tony Gilroy is either one, listening to this podcast, or the more likely thing is stealing my dreams and ideas.
What's the thing that Michael Jackson said? I can't sleep at night because God may give the visions to Prince instead. That's the same relationship between Tony Gilroy and Zenger. Zenger's like, if I sleep at night, Tony will get all the ideas.
And I can prove it too. This season of Andor, I can prove that if we got exactly what I wanted, I would have full proof, legal proof, actually. Once again, not a lawyer.
I have pretend legal proof of everything.
I am an expert in intergalactic imperial law, which is made up. So, got it.
Perfect. But unlike my co-host, shame on them, who did not see Revenge of the Sith in theaters, I saw it 3 times in 4DX.
I'm sorry. How do so? What
Waiting for the
did
fanfare.
you smell the lightsaber cutting through Maul?
Dude, again, like this is one of those things where I would love to see. Like this is how it would be interesting to see Chris's opinion on this, because like I will say, like I've only done 4DX once before. It was for Alien Romulus, and that it was fun. Like definition of a gimmick, but it was fun. But when I'd heard in the press release that this was something that they were doing because all the IMAX and Dolby screens are booked for contemporary films. And they're like, oh no, like it'll be in 4DX. I'm like, okay, sold. Like, especially me being a Disney aficionado, just like theme park stuff. I'm just like, okay, like that first 10, 15 minutes is going to tell me how good this is going to be. I'm like, that Battle of Coruscant is going to be like the ultimate just like litmus test as to whether they put energy into this. And oh boy, did they, whoever does like program this, like the auditorium, oh, they earned their paycheck. Like I will say Battle of Coruscant, solid, great. Oh man, during Order 66, when the giant iguana, when it gets shot at and it falls like off the cliff on Utapau, dude, you sit there like you're falling along with that. And then like all of Order 66, like the second biggest shake of the entire thing was when Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter is destroyed. The entire room just goes ballistic. But my favorite detail is that because the theater does everything, like water effects, smoke, the seats rock, like everything, like aromas. During Ki-Adi-Mundi's death on Megiddo, we actually had artificial snow.
Oh!
And every single time I saw it, somebody pointed like at the little and it's only for like 10 seconds, like it's very minimal at most. It's those levels of details that make it like, oh, this is fun. But my absolute favorite part, is probably every single time during the duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan, because I never knew this until watching it that weekend. Every single time they kick each other, it's like the back of the chair literally just clocks you in the back. Like if you have any sort of like lower spine disability, this thing's complication fodder right there. Like I never realized how much Obi-Wan and Anakin kick each other during that fight until I'm just like, man, like it's just small details like that really make you kind of just like pick up on things you never really noticed. Like, and just because it's a new medium, like I never thought I'd experience physically the duel on Mustafar. Even watching Yoda and Palpy, like even that, like I'm rewatching that over and over the course of that weekend, and just the delicious ham, like that Ian McDermott's just serving up, just like the cackling. It's like I never realized that like after him and Yoda do like the force thing or the force lightning thing at the very end of their battle, and like Yoda obviously falls down like 50 like stories and Palpy's clinging to the side of the like Senate pod, you can hear him while Yoda's like literally like trying to like regain like his breath after the wind's been knocked into him. Palpy's just cackling up there as he's clinging for his life. And it's just like I would love to know what must have been like in the editor's suite in like 2000.
That was just
like,
Ben Bird.
Is it Ben Bird or is it Jorge just being like go like there's a level of just sheer bananasness to Palpy in the last hour of Revenge of the Sith that you don't get in Star Wars really ever again. It's sheer. It's like
Zack,
vaudevillian almost.
Of course you don't. That's the end of Star Wars except Andor Asterix. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Of course you don't get it ever again. But yeah, but I rewatched it like loud at home, and there's nothing like it, man. It's incredulous that there's a group of people out there who actually think the sequels are better than any of the prequels, but especially not episode 3. Crazy people. That's that whole last hour is completely unhinged. There's nothing like it ever made.
I will say too, like watching that movie like so many times in repetition, you know what? I can't make fun of J.J. Abrams when it comes to pacing anymore. I genuinely can't, because it's weird. It's one of those things you real, in the words of A Clockwork Orange. I really didn't realize how real life looks on the big, until it's on the big screen. I mean, that movie just moves like for a 2-hour and like 20-minute film. It just, it takes off, and it really doesn't ever slow down. Even like the like Anakin Padme, like, it's because I'm so in love with you. Even that is not as detrimental to the pacing as it is in Attack of the Clones. It moves like it's. I can't make fun of J.J. Abrams anymore for his pacing, because Revenge of the Sith does a pretty good job at just moving.
But it reminds me that there's been a lot of the really studied original trilogy connoisseurs who know the behind the scenes stuff. They talk about how Return of the Jedi was like, because Lucas just wanted to sort of wrap it up. It was like ideas from like what could have been like 3 or 4 scripts all crammed into one. And it's almost like he didn't learn his lesson and did the same thing with the second trilogy he made. And like, he just left too much stuff for episode 3 and like viewed it as the last kick at the can. So that's why it's that way.
Well, yeah, he's always said that, like, oh God, like 2/3 of the ideas he had for the prequel trilogy ended up in Revenge of the Sith. Like, it was always being put aside for that film. In episodes 1 and 2 were the kind of like, I don't know, they go to a desert planet with like lizard people. Like it was that level, like, or sorry, bug people. Yeah, that you can definitely see that, because like a lot, obviously, for the last like month or two, there was a bunch of like videos on YouTube being like, oh, what was Revenge of the Sith originally supposed to be? And I know the story I've always kind of believed the most was that Anakin was more fueled by his lust for power, as opposed to, oh, I need to save Padme. And you can definitely see where like the Anakin Padme thing right before Mace Windu confronts Palpy, you can definitely see where, okay, like they definitely tweaked this, and we know that Anakin was supposed to be there for the entire fight between Palpy and Mace Windu. You can see Lucas definitely tweaked that and pushed it more in that direction, especially with all the like YouTube context there. But yeah, no, Revenge of the Sith, like it's one of those things where like after I saw the Phantom Menace 3 times in last year, I was kind of burnt out on it. I'm just like, okay, like I've had my fun, moving on. Revenge of the Sith, man, like I would have kept going. Like if it weren't for the fact that this theater was like an hour each way, I would have kept dragging people every single time. I would have found somebody new in my social life and just been like, okay, like we're going to see a Star Wars where the seat kicks you in the back for a solid like 20 minutes at the end. But no, Revenge of the Sith, God bless it, man. It still carries the water all 20 years later.
Well,
yeah,
actually,
I had a good time rewatching it.
I just want to point out that my whole reason for doing episode 2 was I was like, what if Obi-Wan Kenobi became space Sherlock Holmes, but bad?
I think it's great that they skipped Attack of the Clones. I find that so funny. They're just like, we don't need to do any sort of anniversary for this.
I would have rioted.
I can only hope we get the 4DX experience for Attack of the Clones. And that entire moment with Lama Su and Obi-Wan, the seat knocks you back and forth in the head. It gives you a concussion. Just hoping that it makes sense.
I just wanted to start with a concussion. I think that's what you need. Oh man, so
worse by that point.
So wait a second. So by that logic, if it was a 4D, those the sound charges.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's just gonna blow your chair up.
It blows your eardrums out.
Oh man.
All right. Moving away from Revenge of the Sith. Celebration. Any headlines from this that stood out to anybody? Like Chris, I have to ask, do you care about the Darth Maul Clone Wars animation level series? Like, Does that do anything for you, considering they must have had all those ideas for the Solo sequel and they're just recycling those plot points?
It does nothing for me, and I'm sure they're going to take this opportunity to ruin Darth Talon as well, and I'm not excited.
I was praying he was going to say that. I was praying that was going to be part of the initial response. Zenger,
well, it's just more. It's so offensive because it's like that. There's that concept art for Episode 7 of Maul and Darth Talon. Actually looking cool, and they're just going to do that, but worse. Such is the Disney way.
Zenger, any thoughts on this?
Sorry, I'm looking up anything on it because I was trying to remember, because there has been a lot of news and it just all kind of bleeds into an amalgamation of yeah. Anyways, so I just gotta ask, did I miss us recording the episode of Tales from the Underground or whatever it was?
Oh God, yeah, that happened too.
Yeah,
and we have Tales from the Underworld nonsense.
Anyone watch it? I forgot.
I watched
it. Good.
I watched the first Ventress one, and this is where I kind of have to give Chris credit. It devolved into just like, anti-hero character training young Jedi. There were people who thought that this character that Ventress was with is supposed to be Jad Nana Wood. It's not. I never even got to the Cad Bane stuff because it was because it was coming out the same time period as Andor, and oh God, it was coming out a week during that time frame, and it was just a week after Revenge of the Sith thing, and just I don't care about Cad Bane. I just don't as a character. Like, I will definitely watch it at some point, but all the reviews I was watching and reading about it, basically, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's like, okay, like it didn't really. Cad Bane is such a two-note character. Like, he's not meant to be deep. He's just meant to be like a video game boss. He's cool. But even again, look what they did with him in Book and Boba Fett. Was it neat to see him live action? Sure. But he works as a good one-up against like a character that's supposed to be very good. Like how he's utilized when he just kind of one-shots Cobb Vanth. Solid use of that character. To do 3 shorts on him and what made him this way feels like, again, we learned the wrong lessons from the Book of Boba Fett.
See, I mean, I'm not trying to hate on Cad Bane. I'm not. But I feel like it's, hey, I've got this cool character. I got this cool, oh my gosh, why am I forgetting what it's called? I got this cool OC, original character I want to put in Star Wars. Someone put it in, and it just keeps coming back up, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Your OC keeps on appearing. Why?
Well, that's what they did that's what they've done with him. Like, whether it was, again, he was a cool enough character in the Clone Wars, and then it was like, oh, okay, like he was never in Rebels. He's in the Bad Batch. Yeah. He's in the Book of Boba Fett, and then he gets his own like little story. And I'm just like, again, like somebody clearly likes that character and thinks there's a lot of marketing potential there, because otherwise you would not be seeing this. Like, again, I don't know.
Time.
Yeah, like but again, at the same time too, one has to ask, what other like bounty hunter character would they make a special of at this rate? That's
Boba Fett. Oh, wait.
Asking, you shall receive. It's like monkey's paw level
take it
request.
Take it back.
But yeah, and then going back to Ventress, like I remember all the hoopla when she came back in the Bad Batch, and it kind of nullified the events of Dark Disciple. And then a lot of people sat there were being like, okay, like, is this cowboy hat man just doing what he wants? Just like, okay, I want the character back. I don't care what it breaks. And then in the beginning of the Ventress shorts, they do explain what happens. Quinlan Voss and Obi-Wan bring her back to, I think, Dathomir. I could be wrong. And she kind of like gets Lazarus. Like she kind of gets submerged into the thing and comes back to life. And it's just like, oh, and that's, again, it's Star Wars, like Space Witch like nonsense. It's fine. Like I don't care that she came back. Like I don't like, but it's just like if you're gonna bring her back, then do something meaningful with her other than making her an anti-hero. And like a lovable anti-hero. It's just like, okay, like we can't write a new interesting character to do this with. We just have to, like, I would have loved it instead of like Cad Bane, they would have done Dirge. Introduce a new character. Not a new character, but a character that's heck, even do a Dash Rendar. Like, if you're gonna do it again, if you're gonna do something that's not creative, at least do something that's at least the illusion of being new while being uncreative.
Because he's
like,
been mentioned in canon, hasn't he?
There's a reference.
Well,
book that,
recent
like,
canon.
I know that there's a solo reference book that highlights him. They're making a Black Series figure, right, Chris? So you know at some point he's going to be thrown into the contemporary maelstrom of Star Wars content. But I don't know. Like that's a great example of something that should have gotten some air and it completely got lost in the shuffle between Celebration, Andor, Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary. Just completely came and went with really no fanfare outside of the publications that are either paid directly or indirectly to care about this sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like I sort of view Cad Bane and Darth Maul in the same category now, and it's like Darth Maul has his moments, you know, but they're all in the rear view, man. Even his death in Rebels never really did it for me, to be honest. That's
100% they redo that.
Yeah, but it's just it's I don't know, like this whole like, you know, old man Maul. I don't know. Never, it's not great if you ask me.
I don't know. Like
season 7 Clone Wars, that's probably the last good Darth Maul content. Like, it's sort of interesting, but when you go too much farther in the future, when he's like 60-year-old man, like messing with Ezra, like. It's like he still exists in canon, but they didn't know what to do. I don't know.
Disagree.
I have hope. Like you said, Chris, what they do with him in that last arc of the Clone Wars is a lot of fun. I think there's more stories to tell with him, especially if we're going to get into the like, oh, what's it like for the crime syndicates during the Empire? Again, I do think there's fodder there. I know I've said this for years now. There's no way they can resist going. Oh God, Chris, you would know better than me. What was the toy? I think it was Power of the Jedi, the post Phantom Menace toy line, where it was like a 12-inch Obi-Wan and a 12-inch Vader. And it had a versus between the two.
If you're talking about 12-inch 2-packs, I would not be a good source other than.
But I'm only saying because I know there's somebody out there screaming about the Infinities comic from the 2000s where that happens, but this toy like predates that. Again, I'm pretty sure it's a 12-inch Power of the Jedi, Vader versus like Darth Maul. And ever since then, somebody's like, okay, like this is going to sell. The idea of Darth Vader versus Darth Maul, it's just, it's, or even, oh God, like I could see Maul also becoming Prince Shizor level. Again, they've always had to tiptoe around what happens to him after Palpatine kills Savage Opress and captures him, because it's technically canon, but it's a weird like it's like the last Dark Horse comic they made was the Maul Clone Wars adapted series or storyline. I could see them redoing that. Like I said, I think there's fodder here. I think there's, I don't want to call it good storytelling, but there's definitely something. And we have Rus. Rus has appeared, much like a certain Sith Lord. He has returned.
Hello, boys. How are you? Happy Enchandralalu, or whatever they say. I forget.
Perfect.
I was really trying to go out of my way to remember that cheers they kept giving on Chandrilla to each other constantly. But hello, guys. Good to see you. Oh, we're talking toys. Good.
So,
come on, Rus. What else would you expect at this point? We've been recording for a half hour.
But before we get into stuff, I do want to say I think Maul's death is fine. I think it's a poetic, like he's been consumed by hate. He's been too focused on it, and he's just able to be taken down that quickly. I think it has meaning behind it. Don't give me that look, Chris.
So should Ahsoka have gotten killed when? How long ago? How long are we going to drag this out?
Oh,
Zenger,
no. We're talking about Maul right now.
Is Luke the chosen one?
No one cares.
That's a bunch of horse hockey, and it doesn't say verses on this, Zach, but I get what you're saying.
But I think the point is there though.
It's implied. It is
it's
implied. This photo implies verses.
It's like the Freddy versus Jason like
the load
poster.
screen.
It's there. It's
That face on Maul, though, man.
Yeah, it does look like the load screen of a fighting game. Russ, you're absolutely right. And that frame of Maul is obviously the famous shot from the original teaser trailer when their sabers are clashing.
Well, is this a
That's good
repack
stuff.
of the two like 10? Because I think I have that Maul figure just kind of on its own.
yeah, that's from like 2000, from the year 2000, Russ. Like,
Yep.
yeah, that thing is old by today's standards.
Before we
Russ,
get
we were
into
talking about
Andor.
the Darth Maul animated show that's coming out sometime in the future. Any thoughts about that? Oh, see, he's got his Phantom Menace attire on. He's repping the OG.
We're
the
repping
OG people.
prequels. We're talking Andor, one of the greatest prequels. It's up there. It's a top 5 prequel for sure. The Maul show, yeah. I haven't really seen much about it, but yeah, I'm in.
Do you see what? Okay, I top 5 prequel. I really hope that's a calculated statement to literally only exclude Solo. That's great.
I'm in top 6. Sorry, no.
So I do want to point out something, because as we all know, everyone on this podcast loves Star Wars Visions. We can't get enough of it. We're chomping at the bit for Volume 3, and it got in. Everyone is shaking their head.
Yeah. Star
Everyone
Wars
is
Vision
shaking
3
their head
nonsense.
with disbelief that we have to wait until October. I'm excited.
How
And they're
will I
doing a
possibly survive?
spin-off series from it too. It's going to be great. I am sure everybody will be excited as I am.
I don't know. I got lost watching those. They're all right, but they're fun. They're one thing. I know, Zenger, you're like your side mission shows like that. So
Yeah.
it'll be exciting. But I don't follow anime like at all, so none of the names mean anything when they.
Oh God, and I do, and God, Studio Trigger doing something again. I am just, I can go chew on the scenery of that show.
Whoa, you're actually excited and not being sarcastic?
No, I honestly do love Visions. I think it's great, and I know all of you despisingly hate it, and it's not because that I love it.
I think I can. Yeah, I know Zenger long enough now. I can read his irony. I knew he's being sincere for once. Like, no, this is actually sincere, Zenger.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. I thought everything with it was fun. I mean, Volume 2 was Volume 1 was on point. So
I could agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially
One has
that
to
black
care
and
first
white
to hate
with it.
something.
Yeah. That's enough out of you. See, I can point now at where you are on the screen. I don't know where you end up.
It's the wrong way, but still.
Whatever.
Yeah, the one Visions season 1 episode where there was like the crazy old bald Sith Lord guy that bootleg Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan fought. That was good.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I gotta go back to it, man. I think I caught it right when it came out, and something must have happened right after that. I kind of forgot about Visions, man. I'm glad you brought it up.
Exactly. Yeah, go back and watch it. Great stuff. So the one you're talking about is making sure I'm getting this right, because I know if I get it wrong, I'm going to embarrass myself in front of everybody. The Elder.
Nice.
That's the one where it's the old guy, and I'm pretty sure Trigger did that one, which once again, Trigger does amazing work.
I got to check it out. And look, since we've done this show, it's been a while. Some reason, I don't know if it was a May 4th revelation, but my middle son decided to get very into Star Wars, and he's 15 now. His whole life, he's been around it constantly with me, never showed a lick of interest in any of it. I mean, as far as just being a little kid, having some toys and all that. Watched all the movies, wanted to ask if I had Lego sets to put together, and I did, and now he's got a couple of Anakin t-shirts. He's got that 20th anniversary Revenge of the Sith shirt. He had my wife order that for him, and he saw, I don't know if you guys see that, like the NASCAR type shirts are popular right now, parody NASCAR shirts. He's got one that says Anakin Skywalker And on the back, it looks like a NASCAR thing with the pod racer Anakin on it. And it's great. It's so cool. That's all he's wearing exclusively is Star Wars shirts now. I don't know. It's like something just clicked in his head. He's like, oh, yeah, I never realized this. I love this.
What could it have been?
But he has it. It was a miracle, like Andor. I love that you had to grab this image. The Andor is a miracle. Everyone's like, I can't
Well
believe.
played, Chris. Well played. You earned that one, folks. He earned that. That was you might not get that at home, but he played that one just right. Guys,
This is real Disney advertising. Andor is a miracle, and we'd be so lucky to ever see something like it again. It's a Vulture magazine quote, I guess, or whatever that is. Whatever. I don't know Vulture. I don't read Vulture, but like
I don't know who Vulture is, but they said something I agree with, so I endorse their opinion.
Yeah, but this is like it's just a
it's from an
sad
actual
picture of
vulture.
Cassian.
Yeah. What is this? Some kind of thing? So every time they put out something everyone decides to hate, they'll go, we told you Andor was a miracle. Miracles, they don't happen all the time.
But it literally says, don't expect any other Star Wars show to be like this. That's what it says.
Yeah, good.
Oh my God. All right. Do we want to
Yeah, go ahead. Let's rip this Band-Aid off. Let's go.
All right. Do we want to talk about any of the movie stuff that they announced, or are we just going directly into
It's going to be canceled.
Andor?
No, they're too far in. You're talking about not Squadrons, Starfighter. I know it's one of those Starfighter game names that had crossed over. And yeah, it's got everyone's favorite Ken in it. And they've I know someone else has been the female villain. Everyone is assuming
Mia Goth.
Yes. So everyone's excited about that. I think it's too late. This one's not going to be canceled. We love when things get announced and we go, "Oh, this is going to be so canceled." I think they're too far down the pipe with this one.
Yeah, May of 2027, man. Less than 2 years for a Star Wars
To be canceled.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, man. If anything, they're going to Lord Miller them at this point.
The set construction is probably very limited. If say 40 minutes of it takes place in Starfighter cockpits, they don't have to build a whole lot.
Yeah, but what do we get to hear a story about Ryan Gosling has locked himself in an X-Wing cockpit and he won't get out, and it's delayed production for months. Sorry to bring up Lord Miller. That was the best solo part of Solo. Like, we're not coming out. We're not.
That is an old reference.
I know that's a doozy.
That's what we live for. Those parts, though.
Phone.
What a scary time it was to be a Star Wars fan in 2018. Like a combination of knowing JJ's back, a Star Wars got like completely reshot for the second time in 2 years. It was just like we were getting such a deluge of content, yet it was also terrifying and like.
Right, it was like we were coming off of Rogue One, but everything else was just like, whoa, what? And then Last Jedi was. I mean, everyone was so boiling over Last Jedi at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, the honeymoon was over. It was.
Quick.
We're right back into the prequel era again. Oh my God! But yeah, like, are we like there was Mandalorian and Big Whiskey footage?
Yeah,
it looks very boilerplate. It looks very.
It kind of looked like the same stuff the stuff you come to expect, which is great, very cool and all. And again, more Fortnite has gotten into the fray too. I don't know if you guys.
Let's not get into it.
The deluge of Fortnite Mandalorians that are running around.
Yeah, I'm contemplating playing Fortnite again just so I can get the Star Wars content. And I'm like, no, this is how they wrote me in.
You can really grind for that Darth Jar Jar. He is out there.
There's AI Darth Vader, where you can like apparently he wasn't going to say slurs, and now he says slurs.
Thanks, internet.
That was a good thing about my son deciding to get into Star Wars. He's the one telling me about. He's like, I found the AI Darth Vader, and people say he does weird stuff, but like he's kind of straight laced. I don't think he could. I don't know if he had it in him to push Vader to do anything, but Vader AI.
Russ, come on. Some of those clips would be great, like for the soundboard. Some of those AI Vader things people ask him, like, come on, Russ. People are just doing it for you at this rate.
All right, we'll have to go find them then.
I will say, watch, because you weren't here for our talking about Revenge of the Sith and AI. The headline: AI Darth Vader starts swearing in Fortnite, forces Disney patch. Woo. But yeah, Russ, it was great seeing Revenge of the Sith in theaters for the 20th anniversary, and every single time I heard all these Wookiees are dead, head to the east was yeah.
Everyone, that was the chicken jockey of the theater. I'm sure.
Yes, it was.
Throwing their popcorn around. Just go to the east. They're doing all right.
One man chicken jockey.
Be the thing. Move to the east. Yes, sir.
When I watched that scene, I really was like, it really gave me pause, unlike it ever has before, because it's like, what's actually going on there? Like, did all the clones just start firing on the Wookiees? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's all real truncated. That was after Yoda had already split, right? I mean, that was way after that, right?
That is a good point.
Well, also too, look what's happening on Utapau. They're arresting all the government officials on Utapau after Order 66.
Yeah, I think that was when Chewie. That was when they cut back so they could show. I think Chewie and Uncle Tarful's bringing him to his ship to get.
But I mean, they're really gonna start enslaving the Wookiees like that day. Like,
well, of course, because the propaganda is they sided with the Jedi.
Like, they've already had a busy day. The clones have already, like,
that's what the Bad Batch should have been about.
Jedi. What
happened to the Wookiees immediately after Order 66 was announced?
Enslave. Order 66, destroy the Jedi, enslave the Wookiees.
Worst life.
It was a very long order. It was.
Yeah, it's like the postscript to Order 66. Arrest Bruce Spence and just enslave all Wookiees.
All right, so we have to rip the Band-Aid off on Calrissian Andor
let's
season
do
2.
This.
All right, we're gonna go with the more nuanced opinions first. Zenger, thoughts on Calrissian Andor season 2?
As I've established, I'm obviously Russ wasn't here for this, but I'm Hollywood. I'm Hollywood now. See, I got a bigger light ring to make sure you can see my Hollywood face. I'm my white cat. So why am I like this? Because I'm obviously either Tony Gilroy is yes. Let's hold up figures while I'm doing this. Tony Gilroy is either doing one of two things. He is either one, listening to this podcast and stealing my ideas, or two, reading my dream journal. So that's what you missed, Russ, because I got everything I wanted in this show, except for an atmosphere of Star Destroyers, which I kind of got. You can see it in the distance. But what have I been saying forever that I want? Detours. What else have I been saying I want? A political intrigue where you see a ton of Imperials backstab and do everything to betray each other and just show how crummy they are. And what did I get in this show? That exact thing.
Yeah,
you did get it. I have to say, I did think about Zenger a couple times during all those like Imperial, like Gestapo level conversations. I'm like,
oh God,
Zenger was on to something in 2017.
I'm like, oh my God, they're doing the exact. I mean, I would have rather had it on a ton of bridges of Star Destroyers floating around in maybe an upper atmosphere or in space with that kind. But I'll take what I get because I was like, and it's funny because I slowly realized as I kept watching, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my political intrigue. This is my underhanded Imperials backstabbing each other. I'm like, and they wrapped it in this amazing thing where I get to see Diego Luna do crazy stuff and keep going, I'm not doing anymore, and then immediately does more. And then, of course, it ends with K2SO being there. So that was like just the cherry dropped on top of the perfect Sunday that is this show. All right, Zach, go ahead and hate all you want because I've got mine out. And obviously they listen to this podcast. So what are we going to get next? Imperial Fleet Academy or something where
indeed.
Space.
No. Andor 3, bring on the Bothans. Come on, that this might have been a miracle. We need to know about. We still don't know about those Bothans. All right, and I gotta say, I got something I didn't know I wanted, which was the planet of the stupid rebels. The first arc with Andor, where from the scene where he takes the ship. I couldn't so I got my wife to watch it later. I mean, I was laughing out loud when they started Rochambeauing with their snake and their scary faces going on. I was like, every time those guys spoke to each other, she just looked at me like, these guys are just a bunch of idiots. I'm like, oh yeah, these are just the dumbest rebels you could assemble. They're all here, and Diego Luna is stuck amongst the madness. I love the way the first episode ended with him just being carted off like, I am not sticking around. This is what the rebellion is. I have been so out already.
And that is showing. That's building. That's world building. That's showing what the rebellion was. That it's that it's these pieces everywhere that slowly start to come together, and that's where you get the whole.
Yes, those guys.
Stuff. Yeah. Like I like that because it was showing, and then it shows that the Empire the Empire kind of sows the seeds of their own destruction with like everything they do on Gorman and everything. Like it was one of those things that watching it and seeing all of the pieces start to fall into place. That's what I thoroughly enjoyed about it, was seeing that, like, oh my gosh, they're really doing this. And I was just along for the ride, and then showing how incompetent the rebels were, and then the Imperials basically making them more competent by giving them these opportunities. Yeah, and then Saw Gerrera being like the extremist on that end too.
Yeah, we got a lot of faces of it. And I have a question for you guys, just because. I'm sure I could have asked him on Reddit. I don't care. I'd rather ask you guys later on when they're on Gorman, all that's going down, and that guy recognizes Cassian. Is he one of these guys? Was he a Gorman that just recognized him from the one day Diego Luna was like, yeah, you guys are going to get killed. I can't be part of this. I have to go. Like, who was that guy?
He was part of the ones who were watching him, like in the second block of episodes. Yes. Okay.
I was really hoping it would have been one. I was really hoping it would have been one of these guys and be like, oh, they did get off planet, but that happens so quick, and then you're moving on, and he helps them get Kay's body up and everything. Okay, never mind. Well, so we don't know where these guys are. That could be the next show.
Yeah, they're on Yavin. Probably 2 or 3 of them are wiping up grease stains on Yavin because that's all they're qualified to do.
Especially after this.
He's one of these guys. Could be the guy in the tower, that lonely guy. If you give him something to do.
Oh, I've seen something on that too, and you guys might appreciate this. They're like, why in the crap is this guy in this tower holding a spear? What's he going to do to starfighters? I'm like, that's a communications.
It's a spire or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to throw a spear at a starfighter. That's silly.
It might be a ceremonial staff.
Yes.
Like those guys, like the King's guards in front of Buckingham Palace. They're like those guys.
Ah, perfect.
Yes, one space year of service.
Russ,
you get the silver spear.
Yeah, exactly. But it's funny. I don't know if you saw the same Tony Gilroy interview that I did, but he also described these guys as idiots specifically.
I didn't, but that was definitely conveyed perfectly with these guys. The whole concept of it, that it was they're so pathetic. They're like, oh yeah, you guys got all the guns, we're gonna slowly move the ship if all of us push this thing a few more feet, it's like we can move over 10 more feet maybe, and maybe you can't kill us.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the guy on the right is Tony Gilroy's son, and he he's like, well, if I'm gonna put my son in the movie, I'll at least make him one of the dumbest characters. The guy who does the scary face. Snake arm. Oh, dang. We gotta start learning that game. That's I know it has to have a lore name. I just don't know it. I forget what they call it.
There's a lot of games in this show being shown off, because there's the domino game they play later.
Oh, that poor guy. Yeah, I like it.
Oh yeah, there's the whole wedding thing. I forgot about that.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of watched the first arc on a rewatch, and I think I ended with that poor guy. What's his name? Kay Estro, her rich old friend, and that his poor fate.
Kay Albin?
No. Kay Albin, yes, the poor guy. Couldn't do anything about him.
Space Jay Leno.
Yeah, I don't even say names. I'm going to dox him. He actually looks like just a guy I went to high school with. Like that. No, he didn't look like that. Like that's what he would look like now, maybe. But I was fine. I'll say he looks like Space Ryan Rogers. I don't know. Like that is kind of a space.
That is a very local reference.
You're out there, Ryan Rogers. That looks like you.
It's some of the best. The first arc is by far my least favorite, and I think you could except for some of this wedding stuff, you could almost entirely lose it. I think they just felt the need to explain why Mon Mothma is okay with losing her family, which I think season 1 got that across without this, personally.
It's kind of the whole, I mean, I took it as it's showing what everybody is risking and what everybody is sacrificing.
And the grandeur of the time and stuff like that, that was still, present. Even with the Empire there, they could still kind of exist. And that was even starting to erode away. And Mon's money trouble.
And it also sets up the whole Luthen and her, like, how they interact and everything. Like, did it go on for a little bit longer than it needed to? A little bit, but
yeah. I think what I really don't like is this whole stealing the TIE prototype. I feel, and then when he gets stranded for like a whole episode with the idiots like that, I feel like that's the wasted opportunity time. They could have probably done something more interesting with that.
Yeah, on the rewatch,
it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I realized that he doesn't get off the very last scene of the second episode is him leaving there. So he's there pretty much 2 episodes, and I guess it shows the risk being taken where we meet that girl in the beginning who kind of helps him in. And I don't know why they don't ever go back to her. We don't know what happens with that. Or we don't know where the ship goes. What does he just do? Just here, Luthen. Is Luthen flying around in that thing?
Things.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just like Zach's been very quiet. He's obviously like got problems.
He's fighting.
I just want to hear them because that's why I came.
Yeah, he's got problems.
And that's before I started watching Andor season 2. Y'all are prepared and like.
Hold on, I just want to say something
first.
I wish this tie was another why am I forgetting Thrawn's prototype, the tie
Defender.
Yeah, I wish it was that or something that we would see more of later, because none of the concepts from this really exist later. So it's like, what was this prototype?
Well, that's right. It's literally a prototype that got stolen. Or maybe use a prototype that got stolen.
That's true, but I mean, think about it. Maybe it could have been something that led to something we know later, like something that looked like an A-wing, and then they take it, and then like, oh, that's how we got A-wings because we stole that ship, and they were we designed them to look like that,
But I do like the concept of not everything has to have like this grandiose thing. Like some stuff is just stuff that was happening, which this kind of chalks up to. It's a vehicle, it's a literal vehicle, but it's also a plot vehicle for him to go and us to see how disorganized the rebellion is. And
to see him spy, which I specifically requested a few times. I would like to see some actual spying going on, pretending to be things. And he did that. He got to be a fashion designer or a photographer or whatever he was when he first showed up to Gorman. He got to do a couple
of fighter expert.
He did. Yes, he was that. Well, no, he was like a when he first showed the Gorman, he was something else. Yeah,
he was a fashion designer.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the one Legends continuity appearance of this TIE fighter? It's old.
God.
It's old, man.
Oh no! Wait, hold on. Prediction. It's from one of the TIE fighter video games.
Yeah, it's from the PC game, like TIE fighter.
Ooh,
which has got to be like 94.
Hold on, I can tell you exactly.
And it does kind of look the same.
Are you bringing up something?
I'm going to try to. It's a pretty low res 1994.
I was about to say it's too pixelated.
Yeah.
And they're very low effort in their training there. I felt like I was like, did they not cast anyone to be here? It's like, all right, just go in there and you can go fly around. Top secret, just leave.
Well, hold on.
Okay, so that's the original. Okay.
Yeah, that's like the 1994 video game cutscene. So I mean, it's not that. It's just an interceptor with like some weird stuff on the sphere.
July 1st of 1994 was when it was released. How do I know that? Because I have it on my PC.
All right, and the anniversary's coming up. I know you're excited about that.
Well, Zenger, I have it on my old Packard Bell like PC that I've been saving this for all these years.
Dude, Zach, so.
Firing this thing up will probably blow up my graphics card.
But you know, when Zack was like, "Oh, we don't get Dash Rendar, we get more Cad Bane." But it's like they know these games. They're pulling from 90s for a throwaway TIE fighter. They're pulling from like a 1994 game, but like more Cad Bane, boys.
More Cad Bane. I'm thinking of a Simpsons reference where the lunch lady's stirring the thing. It's like more testicles means more iron. Instead of more Cad Bane means more fans.
More Cad Bane means more iron.
Yeah, but Zach, what's your problem, man? Why is this not a miracle?
Yeah, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Like Star Wars right now?
I will post on the Facebook page again.
No, I went into this the first 5 minutes with him and the stealing the TIE fighter prototype. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like even the whole thing where like you have the, oh God, what do we call them? The solo snow troopers, like the guy with like the missile launcher. I'm like, oh, this is cute. And like he gets completely just like vaporized as he's shooting out like the giant door. I'm like, okay, like I'm on board. And then we have like literally 2 hours of him like with a bunch of idiots in the forest, which I get it's intentional, but it's very plotting. It's very slow. Combined with this Mon Mothma once again having existential crisis over her daughter getting married. And then like Luthen being like, we have to tie up loose ends. And it's just like, oh, okay. I did rewatch all of season 1 before before season 2 started. And I kind of had forgotten how much of it doesn't really, you never buy into it, but it makes a big point for Luthen, Val, and Cinta, their like plot point on Ferrix to be, oh, we have to kill Calrissian Andor to tie up loose ends. I never bought into it. And I guess the whole Tay Kalma thing is supposed to be a reinforcement of the Luthen. Oh, we have to tie up loose ends at all cost. So by the time you get to the third arc where they're trying to extract Mon Mothma from Coruscant and she's like terrified that Luthen's going to try to like kill her. I'm like, I don't believe this. I'm like, you're making that one like thread kind of hollow. But no, the first 3 episodes I thought were just like the first 15 minutes I was on board with it. And then it became this is where I wish Joe were here. It's the thing of like, it felt like there's so much they wanted to tell, but they just focused on reiterating the same points over and over and over and over again. For a show that thinks it's so clever, the amount of times it has to keep just reinforcing the same point over and over again. I'm just like, okay, you either have faith in your audience or you don't have faith in your audience. The second batch of episodes with the French resistance on the spider planet, again, solid enough. I didn't think it was fun seeing, oh God, what's his name? Oh my God, Ben Mendelsohn is Krennic. It was fun to see him again. He's clearly having the time of his life in this role again, considering that I think the first time he had to just be generic bad guy. Again, he's having a lot of fun. I will say, and this is where I became very thrilled with the show, and then a week later became extremely disillusioned with it to the point where I just stopped caring. Cyril Karn, I think, is probably the most layered character we've ever had in Star Wars, especially episodes 8 and 9. I love, again, probably has the most depth of any Star Wars character, period. The idea that, oh, this is a guy that is so committed to law and order, even going back to what he was in the first season where he's talking to his boss when he's part of the, I don't want to say mercenary group, but like corporate police. And he's just like, well, it's wrong what they did. And his boss is like, these were 2 cop goons who were in the wrong place, the wrong time, doing the wrong thing. It's for everybody's best interest that this problem just gets ignored. And Cyril's like, nope, law and order.
No.
And then I love, again, like he's part of building this like artificial, or he's part of, reinforcing this artificial rebellion, which felt very Force Unleashed to me. The idea of like, oh, the Empire is intentionally creating this rebellion. And then like by the time you get to the third batch of episodes, you realize that he's clearly done something to disenfranchise himself from the Gorman resistance. But clearly Dedra is getting what she wants, even though Cyril's not. I never understood that in the third batch of episodes, how Cyril's not aware that this is all an elaborate scheme on the part of the Empire, because numerous times Partagas is telling Dedra Cyril can't know anything that he's doing. And I'm like, okay, like I guess what they mean by that is the mining operation, that this is not about law and order, it's about exploiting a planet. And I love the fact that when he eventually realizes that none of this, the Empire is not about law and order, it's all about power, and he literally just realizes what this is, that this is power, this is fascism. That's great. I love that. Like, absolutely fascinating, like just provocative.
And he never took his eye off of wanting to get those actual rebellion people that he knew were out there. He knew that was out there. And Cyril, great character. In the just world, he would have been a hero.
Well, but the thing is that he's not, and what makes it what's so great, and this is what Chris has on the screen right now, is I love while the entire Gorman massacre is unfolding, he sees Cal Rising in the crowd just by sheer happenstance, and he once again loses sight of what the overall magnitude of what's occurring is, and just immediately devolves into, oh, this is somebody who violated law and order in the ultimate micro sense, and just and it literally cost him his life. I'm like, again, fascinating character to me. Again, I love, Cyril Karn, probably one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time. But beyond that, I genuinely don't care about this show at all. To the point where I'm going to be honest with you, I couldn't even finish episodes 11 and 12. I know what happens at the end of 12. It's the most just, I don't know. I don't want Chris to have to bleep anything. So I'm gonna make a hand gesture. I'm gonna make Zenger describe it to the audience in the most PG fashion possible. Okay. This is what the last 30 seconds of Andor was.
He is moving his hand up and down in a motion that is similar to someone polishing a baseball bat, maybe.
I was going to say I'm about to roll dice. I'm rolling dice
of some sort.
Thank you, Zach.
He is attempting to roll dice. Despite
the fact there's no dice.
There's no dice.
Yeah.
He's polishing a rod of some sort.
An imaginary rod. Yes, much like Tony Gilroy. Okay? I'm polishing an imaginary rod. Yeah, like I genuinely like the fact that we begin episode 10 and it's more exposition. And I'm just like, oh my God, make it end. I'm just like this, like I couldn't stand it. I genuinely couldn't stand it. By that point, they made me completely not care about Luthen. I never cared about Clea, never cared about her at all. Her whole thing of wandering in the rain on Yavin and Val, she does like all this like deep talk.
Yeah,
okay. She doesn't know what.
Yeah, that part's lame, but like Clea, like committing euthanasia, that's the good stuff, man.
Euthanasia? Euthanasia?
Yeah. No. You never saw that meme? That's good.
But we've seen that before. The idea that, she has to kill her mentor, like, oh, wow, how provocative. Like, for the show that thinks it's God's gift to humanity.
Would you have preferred if he would have gone out bigger, though? If he would have just blown the whole shop up, if that would have been the plan?
The thing is that you've built. Look at what happened to Luthen in season 1 when he's about to be captured after talking to Saw Gerrera. He has this very elaborate the Hallcraft, the countermeasures, all the stuff that he's able to single-handedly disable this Imperial patrol. And then I get it. They very much established at this point in the timeline, weeks before the Battle of Yavin, the Scarif, that Luthen's kind of a has-been at this point. He's not really necessary. Like his role in this is kind of ceased. And the whole thing is that again, it's fine. Like it's none of this is bad. It's the problem is that like we have two spectrums. Like you have it's fine, which is Marvel doing Ant-Man. It's fine. Like it doesn't reinvent the wheel. And this is the opposite side of the spectrum. And it's just like, okay, like it thinks it's highbrow, but it's not. And that's where it becomes like outside of those brief moments, like Cyril Karn and even Dedra, how Dedra story like ends up is just like, oh, look, the person that was committed to the fascism became a prisoner to the fascism. Literally. See, that's what happens when it's just like, again, like you did just, I don't get how this is, people are looking at this. Like, I have no problem with the show. I'm probably more angry at the fan response to this more than anything else, because it's just, it doesn't do anything new. It's just, I want to say I did rehearse this. I did practice this. Like, we have an evolution from steak to the Rainforest Cafe.
Oh, God.
Andor season 2 is for people who order beef Wellington at the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, I'm offended.
That's what this show is. It's for people who think they're more clever than they actually are. Like, even when like I saw this quote about, like, even when the show ended, I was just like, so wait, what happened to Calrissian Andor's sister? Like, wasn't that the whole point of all this? And then I saw a quote from Tony Gilroy who says she's much more valuable as an absence. The fact that losing her drives him to go and try to save everyone is much more important to me than finding her working at, McDonald's in Niamos. Everyone has unresolved things. Andor says in the end, maybe I should stop saving people. That comes from this hole in his life, and I didn't really want to fill it. That is just as much of a cop-out, if not more so, than somehow Palpatine returned.
Well, she's the friends that he made along the way.
No, that's not. No, it's the idea that at the end of the day, Star Wars is about space wizards and fantasy. If the whole point is
that, and it's great.
And the whole thing is that in the beginning, no.
We got a Force healer.
I wouldn't mind the whole sister thing being ignored if literally all the flashbacks with him as a kid and how Marva finds him along with Clem, I would have no problem if none of that was even there. If the catalyst was just, oh, he walks into a brothel finding his sister, that's a MacGuffin. But the fact that you lay out that the last time he ever saw his sister was being injured by some form of Republic presence, that's where I'm just like, oh, he couldn't explain this in a coherent, effective way, and so he's just waving it away. Like, this is, don't make me defend J.J. Abrams, Tony Gilroy. Don't make me defend him. But here we are.
Got to get those two in a room together.
Okay.
Yes, I have. Okay. I haven't lost it, folks. I still have it.
Thank you, Zack.
I'm going to respond to some of this. The whole sister thing, whatever. The Empire stuff. So Dedra's stuff. It's all everyone. It's manipulation down the line of the Imperials. They keep manipulating each other. People. They're just doing, because I guarantee you, Krennic, that whole meeting, his plan, none of that was probably on the books for anybody. He needed to get something, and he's like, I'm going to manipulate a ton of underlings to get this done for me, so I can be like, oh, well, look, we're occupying this planet. I can get the stuff I need now. It's all this. Everyone's betraying everybody. And the one thing I do wish the show would have seen is it was mentioned a ton of, I have meetings with the Emperor. I would just have loved to have had a scene where it was just them sitting in a goddamn room and Palpatine having to listen to somebody complain about whatever was going on and him being
I did like that. I will say, because we know Krennic has never met the Emperor, and the fact that he's always referencing having sit downs with him, I did like that. That was a nice touch.
He was just attached on the emails, right? And he's acting like he's his best friend.
Yeah,
that was a pretty good touch.
And that's the thing. And then what does Daedra do? Daedra manipulates Zero. It's manipulation down the line of who's going to be the next one to fall. Because, yeah, Krennic basically kind of messed up, and she found out stuff. So what did he do to solve that? Pinned it all on her. Basically threw her in jail for it and went off to go be the hero and then get everything stolen by Tarkin. So
right, and she kind of did it to herself though too.
She did, and it's like I said, that's what I liked about this was I didn't realize I was getting the exact thing I wanted till I was deep into it and went, oh my gosh, they're doing the exact thing I wanted Star Wars to do of showing Imperials and the fact that they're all just the dumbest people sometimes when it comes to all just screw each other.
Just overconfident, way overconfident.
Exactly.
Always underestimating. And they got. I mean, you're right. And anything with the ISB, which lost a lot of power after this, if according to lore, right? Then the ISB basically get replaced by a more military presence after this. But
just all of these mess ups.
Yeah, and you kind of see how it goes down. And I don't know if you guys have watched Rogue One or 2 after this. I have not yet. I've seen Rogue One kind of a good amount. I want to watch it again, of course. But
this show makes me dislike Rogue One a little bit. It does. It does. This show. No. This show makes me dislike Rogue One. Not to the point where I can't watch it. This is not like the prequels ruined my childhood. Rogue One's still great. But no, this is dumb. Calrissian Andor, all he does is whine throughout this entire show, which makes that all he did in Rogue One was just a continuation of him just kind of moping around. But getting to Zenger's point is
he's been in this fight since he was 6 years old.
Yeah, except no, he got kidnapped by
exactly. All right. Now, stop pulling me to your side.
He was in the fight for the last 4 years, maybe 5 tops. But no,
and I did it to myself because I stole things.
Yes. I shot 2 cops at a brothel. That's how long I've been in the fight, Jenner. So sure, it's just staring into the void. No, but getting to Zenger's point about Dedra and all that is that, again, you look at what happens at the end of the Gorman Massacre episodes, and it's Partagas tells her, you're going to have so much, political favor coming out of this, blah, blah, blah. We fast forward a year, and it's she finally finds Luthen Axis. But once again, it goes back to season 1. She's stepping outside of her jurisdiction. And it's just what happened in that 1 year where she lost her political favor? It would actually make narrative sense that, because of all the political favor she curried with the Gorman Massacre and facilitating that, she would have more latitude. Nope, not mentioned at all. Not any sort of political thing, or even if she lost all of that political clout. None of it mentioned. And then we have
that's how quick bureaucracy works, though. Okay, you did this. What have you done for me lately, kind of thing.
And maybe she lost the drive because of Cyril dying.
But that's my thing, though. Is that but they make such a big point that it's twofold. It's the one thing is Axis Luthen is outside her jurisdiction, and then on top of that, Lonnie stole her code cylinder for a year, and it's just okay, so you're telling me for a year she basically lost her keys and didn't know this until she was confronted that, there's been a massive data breach a year later.
Well, now, did she lose them, though? Or did that guy who was basically had taken over her position in the ISB, was he trying to work actively against her? Because I think they left that kind of...
I think everybody in that was working against each other because they're all trying to get one up on each other. And... once again, I think that's why a ton of stuff got pinned on her, was because Krennic's she knows about stuff, and she's a loose end from the Gorman stuff. She knows that we set that all up.
Do we see any mention of Grandma Tarkin at all?
Yeah. He's mentioned once or twice.
He landed his ship on the...
yes. And okay, and I know people, of course, because we're doing this much later after it came out, but people, the Gorman Massacre and the Tarkin Massacre are 2 different things. Tarkin landing the ship sounds way, 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 way worse than what we actually saw on screen, which is another little thing where I'm
no, it doesn't. They didn't send K2 the K2 units out, which apparently why didn't the Empire build more of those?
Right, I know. As we're sitting here looking at him too. It was cool to see them in Terminator mode. I know Zack is a Terminator appreciator. Come on, we finally got to see a little bit of Terminator mode when he was kicking women or like a football across.
I had problems with that too.
They were overpowered.
No, they're accurately powered to fall in order. If you play Fall in Order, it makes sense.
It's that moment. That moment is so cartoony and so tonally jarring. No, absolutely bonkers that they put that in there. It must have been a studio note. Tony Gilroy must have been gritting his teeth the entire time he had to storyboard that sequence. Not a doubt in my mind.
We don't really see him. I mean, well, do we? Maybe I do need to watch Rogue One.
What K2SO does at the end, where he's just smacking people around and takes on a whole ISB force by himself and just wrecks them.
See, I kind of like that scene. I did like seeing, troopers without their helmets. I know it's a rare thing.
Well, no, because those
Never
are
kinda see it.
special units.
Yeah.
Those are like higher level ISB, like SEAL Team 6 of the ISB.
All right. I see that line, Cook.
I said, here's my thing. I did not go into this with like this is going to be good. Like I went into this as it's a Star Wars show. I'll watch it because I legally am bound to, apparently. But I ended this with like a
contractually obligated, Zenger.
Yeah.
We're all beat down like Imperial officers at this point. We're all like, we will accept our role, but then we get all Cyril Karn watching this. At least you did. Like, I'll say I did too. And he was my favorite character in season 1, Zach, and my favorite character in season 2. That has not changed. I love his arc. I love the scenes with his mom. I actually felt a lot of, even as terrible as she was, asked for that spiced tea, but she knew dang well she never had no spiced tea before. She was just needling her son and getting put in her place. But very well thought out characters I've felt could exist in the same world as Aunt Beru and Luke. Like I felt like that there's just something about every time I see them go, yeah, I could see like you guys living in the same universe. It helped pull that all together. But do we want to put a pin in for now? What do you want to do?
Good show. Despite what Zach says and the actual logical points he made, I'm just going to ignore.
Don't make me say the words, I'm looking forward to the Mandalorian and Big Whiskey. Like, we didn't get a chance to talk about Sigourney Weaver as like an X-Wing, like Marshal, like don't
Kelly Moto herself?
Wait,
or are you talking about Kay from Outlaws? I'm confused.
I'm just confused that
I'm just confused now too.
They've been trying to get Sigourney Weaver shoehorned into Star Wars with Kay from Outlaws and Peli Motos and all this.
Exactly.
And, by the way, my son also started playing Outlaws and like completed it 100% last month. He loves it. So I'll have to pick up that. You don't like the game?
I could go play Assassin's Creed. I don't need the Star Wars version of it.
But Zenger has Darth Vader in a scene.
It does?
What do you know about Kira's a character in it?
That too. Oh my god! And it has Cad Bane may be somewhere.
Oh god!
Did you know the blaster bolt that Han Solo and that Greedo never shot at Han is actually in the cantina there? It's crazy. Couldn't believe it. I was like, that shouldn't be there. Go wipe that off. Can you do that? And they're like, they don't
Wait
let
a
you.
second. Hold on. I'm having like visions of something. The wrestling Jabba the Hutt species is something that's coming up later and wasn't in Outlaws, right? They're like,
no, that's earlier, I believe. The buff Hutt.
Yeah, the buff Hutt.
That's the Mandalorian and Big Whiskey.
Okay,
no, that's from older
like,
media, though. It's like in a comic or something.
Well, no, did we get Buff Hutt yet, or is that coming? Because all this is blending into.
It's Rhoda from the Clone Wars movie.
I know. That's why I'm like trying to remember. I'm
Snotty?
Like, did this happened and I forgot it.
Stinky.
Not as close.
That can't be real.
That's 100%
actually
real. And
wait, who's playing him too? We know the voice.
The guy from The Bear.
Yeah, the thing.
From Shameless.
Yes.
Roy,
yeah, the guy from The Thing.
Oh, wait, say that again.
Jeremy Allen.
The guy from The Thing.
Yeah, him. Fantastic.
All right. So, Chris, I think what we're going to do is we're going to sit there, do a part 2 for Calrissian Andor. It gives us also, we can talk more about the movie stuff.
This is the first arc, people. This is just the first arc.
We're going to end this episode with us shooting a bunch of, we're going to end our episode leaving B2 Emo on the planet.
We will be back.
Zach, sometimes in war, you got to leave your beep boop trash can behind, like it's just like there was more important things happening. That's just how it went. I'm really triggered and offended by all of your takes on Andor. And
they get worse. That's
the black hole
too, because we're going to next out just like y'all off. Like this is gonna be like Chimera versus like the Jedi on the planet. Like y'all, I'm gonna sit there and bash my head into your lightsabers and deactivate them as I impale you. Like I am ready for this.
Goodbye, BMO.
You're getting played off stage, Zach. Wrap it up.
my friends.
For the soundboard.